Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, thanks for joining me. I'm Katie and today we're going to revisit that scrawlrbox and do a better job this time. So although anything acrylic based isn't necessarily my preferred medium, I can still kind of work with it. However, for the August scrawlrbox we really needed some white acrylic paint now, didn't we? I love the fact we'd got those primary colours, but it just left my painting looking really streaky because they were a little bit on the transparent side, and judging from the featured artist's work, they used white and I can't see why a white wasn't added in the box. Never mind though, because I went to Poundland. I spent £1 on a pack of acrylic paints just to get the white out of it, and there was like 5 in a pack, so I have spent 20p to improve the contents of this box vastly. And don't worry, I will use the other acrylic paints for craft projects more than likely. Now there is a difference with this white acrylic paint. It is not as thick and as pigmented as the stuff that was included in the scrawlrbox. However, I wasn't after it for texture, I just wanted to add some opacity to that paint, just so I could have a bit more of a consistent colour to work with. And even though, like I say, it's not the best acrylic paint in the world from Poundland, it did what I needed it to, and it made the whole thing a lot better. I added a base layer down because I just wanted to not have so much canvas texture. I know it's all about texture on this, but I wanted a really smooth application to work all of those textures on. And right off the bat, there is a huge improvement there. Okay, it's not the best paint that I've added there, but again, that's not the point. I've just got a more opaque flat layer to add what I want on top without having it being all streaky and all horrible and completely messing up what I want to do. Now luckily I still had some of the palette knife business card thingy-mabob that scrawlrbox had included, and I do actually quite like using that as a tool. I like the fact that you can customise your own tool set, I guess, and pretty much have whatever shape knife you want to apply the paint with. So I had some wider ones and then quite a narrow one. Again, using those primary colours and just adding a smidgen of that white paint to create a more opaque finish really has changed the whole outlook on this. Now I know this isn't how I normally do my paintings, but just adding that white paint made this a much more enjoyable experience. I felt like I could explore the materials and get a better grasp on things. And what was really good was I could add some highlights to my piece, which was so needed because those colours were so saturated. I like the fact that because I added that base coat as well, that if the colours were a little bit streaky, I didn't have this strange marbling, I suppose, texture underneath. A texture might be the wrong word, but you got a strange marbling pattern on the canvas paper. But with that base layer that I've put down, that's not as apparent. It doesn't look a mess. It makes all of my my markings look a lot more deliberate, which I felt on the previous one I couldn't achieve. And I wasn't like terribly upset with my original painting, but I knew what could make it better, and I just wanted to revisit this box with that little tiny tube of white paint, just to show any of you out there that if you were struggling with it, this is a really easy and quite cheap way of remedying it and getting the most out of your box. I absolutely love what adding a little bit of white acrylic paint did to the pink. I love that solid colour, and I've still got those textures there, but it doesn't look a horrible streaky mess. And the same goes for the hair. Now, yes, I could have added a little bit more white into that and made it more opaque. However, I thought if I was going to keep that same texture from the original video, I thought the hair would be the best place to do it. It's a little bit more opaque than my original one, but it doesn't look a horrible streaky mess, and that's fine, and I could still get all of that texture detail in there. I'd really like to know how you guys got on with this box and whether you were fine without the white paint, or did you have to go and raid your stash and get some white acrylic paint to help it along. I'd also like to know how you found the different way of making marks with the paint as well, and how you found the textured paint. I really liked it. I liked the idea, and it reminded me of the oil-based one they did last year. So it was quite a nice thing to revisit, although it's not something I carry on visiting, but it was nice. It broke things up a little bit. I think this could have been a brilliant box though, with the inclusion of that white acrylic paint. I really do feel like it's made the whole experience a lot more enjoyable, and I actually felt like the second time round, I know I'd got knowledge of doing the first one, but the second time round, again, just having the ability to make that paint a little bit more opaque just made me feel like I'd done a better job. I felt like I could achieve a truer depth with the picture. I mean, it's not perfect by any means, but it's a style and a technique I'm not all that familiar with. But just that one little tube of a white acrylic paint made me feel like I'd done a better job this time around. It made me appreciate the vibrancy of those colours as well, and even though they had been lightened, they were still incredibly pigmented and incredibly vibrant, and that texture wasn't lost either. So yes, next time you do a box like this, scrawler, just check to see if it would benefit. Anyway, the one on the left is the original one, and the one on the right is obviously the one you've just seen. Let me know in the comments which you think is the best. I personally think the paint behaved a lot better on the second one, and I'm a lot happier with how that one turned out. I really hope that this video has helped, just in case you thought that the paints were misbehaving. They weren't, they're beautiful to work with, they just needed something to make it a little bit more opaque. I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and if you've enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up. Also, if you're new here, why not hit that subscribe button? There should also be a couple more videos on screen for you to watch, and in the meantime, I will see you on the next video. Bye!